Stanley, Scuba, Sailing, and Adventures.
I appreciate you being here with me today at the Stanley Scuba, Sailing, and Adventures World Headquarters. If this is your first time, please hit that subscribe button. Today, we're going to be installing an outlet in the bed of the Jeep Gladiator.
This is for the 2024 or later Jeep Gladiator. Note the part number even says 24 in the name. Prior to 2024, the kit included the bezel, which the bezel's already built in now. You just need the insert for the button. You also need this cable adapter and then the V-Gate OBD2. I'll drop the links for everything in the description and comments. Here are the 3 panels that I had to remove. I pried off the cover around the headlight controls and the placeholder in the bezel. Most of the instructions I found were for the 2023 or earlier Gladiators, and those all had you remove the dash completely, or at least the top of the dash. I tried to avoid that. I read in a forum someone said the wire might be behind this metal piece. I removed that. The wire was not there. It was up behind the speaker, taped up. If you already have an inverter in your Gladiator, this wire is supposed to be taped up in there, and it was, but it was difficult for me to find. I actually used a bore scope to visualize where it was located. I then used a really long pair of needle nose pliers, and with the bore scope I could see where to grab onto it, and it just slid out from the tape. This wire and connector then plugged directly in the back of the switch. It might have been easier to remove the top of the dash, but I wanted to try. I was hopeful the wire would be right behind the headlight switch, but it wasn't. Then everything just snaps back together and plugs in. Next, I headed to the back of the Gladiator. I needed to remove this panel. This is where the outlet will go. I have a spray-in bed liner, so I needed to use a utility knife to cut through the spray-in bed liner before I could remove the panel. You can feel the edges of the plate, and I used the utility knife at an angle to try and not cut away any more of the spray-in bed liner than I needed to. I knew the insert would fill in over the top. After I'd cut it thoroughly, it wasn't difficult to remove with a screwdriver. Now I was ready to install the outlet and the wiring harness. I carefully reviewed all of the connectors on the wiring harness before climbing underneath the Gladiator. All of the work we're going to do now will be underneath the passenger side rear end. So we'll need to disconnect the wiring harness here, remove the clips holding it in, and then there are 2 connections back here that we'll need to remove. And maybe I should have cleaned the Gladiator first. So that's what we need to remove and replace. In the other videos I saw for the older Gladiators, it seemed like this was not quite as far back and a little easier in their videos to get to. And there's the hole up there where the outlet will go. I wanted to put the outlet in place and make sure that the wire would reach down to the new wiring harness before I started pulling everything apart underneath. These little plastic inserts will pop into the square holes, and those will be what the screws will thread into. Not super excited that these are plastic. Probably pretty easy to strip. And they just snap in. These are all OEM parts, so I expected them to fit very well, and they did. So we'll just feed the wire in, and yeah, all the holes line up nicely. I'm not going to screw this in just yet. Again, I just want to make sure that the wire is long enough and it's going to reach underneath before I tighten anything in. So we'll go back underneath now. I didn't video the wire removal. This piece gave me the most trouble. I needed to turn this harness over, so I pushed the button in from below to free it up. So there's a clip on the top of this wire. You can see it there, that red clip you have to slide back. I don't know how you would undo that clip without being able to visualize it. I was very careful removing it because I knew I'd need to reuse this button, push it back through this hole later. I just worked my way back and one by one removed the plugs or little connectors that hold the wire harness in place. And as far as disconnecting and connecting the wire harness, I didn't have to use force on anything. When you open up the clips, there's this distinct little pop, a little click you'll hear. And again, I didn't need to use force on anything, and I wouldn't recommend using force. They should come apart pretty easily when you have the clips all the way open on the harnesses. Connectors. Here's the new harness in place, and there's that little button I reused, and then the rest of these just plug in right where the other ones were, and they were already well adjusted on the wire to go exactly where they needed. Here's that harness and connection for the outlet, which I forgot wasn't screwed in and pushed a little too hard, but here we go, everything in place. And again, when you connect the ends of the wire harness, there's a distinct click when you close those connector clasps. So after everything's connected up, you still have to program the Jeep's computer, and that computer is locked. So you have to go underneath the dash and use that cable that I showed you at the beginning. For me, this was one of the hardest parts. The two plugs you need to get to are way up in here, and my hands, I guess, are just too big, but the top end of this wire, and I'll try to show you exactly where it is, and then there's one right next to it. You have to push the clip in and pull those down, and I'll try a couple different angles here to show you exactly where they plug in. But this part was really very difficult for me. I'm not a contortionist, and I guess they designed it that way because this is what you need to use to bypass the lock on the computer and program it to let the inverter switch and the outlet work. So yeah, I'm trying to show it to you. It's really difficult to see. I'll show another view after I have the wires disconnected, and you'll be able to see where they came out. This part I really had to do by feel. I couldn't visualize it as I was working on it. So you see it's right under the edge here and almost straight up. For orientation purposes, here's where you could plug the reader in if you just want to read the settings. But you have to get these two wires unplugged and plugged into that Y cable to actually program the computer and save the settings. After much struggle and much twisting and turning and effort, I was able to get the two wires pulled out, and here's where they came from. I think it'll be hard to not get the correct ones. Now that we have our wires, we need our Y cable to connect those two wires, and then we'll use the V-Gate iCar Pro if you have an iPhone, and if you have an Android, there's a different one that you plug into the end of this cable. Again, I'll include the links for everything. I ordered these from Amazon. And here's the iCar Pro. You see the pin set. You can plug that directly into the reader too, that I showed earlier. But if you want to program the computer, you need to use this cable to bypass the security. So these two cables are Y cable plugs into. You don't need the Y cable if you just want to use the JScan to read settings or diagnostics. The app is called OBD JScan. I selected Auto Connect with Bluetooth. And when you get to this point, you need to buy a license. You can buy a license for just one vehicle or for, I guess, multiple vehicles. I'm just going to license this one vehicle. So I'll select one VIN license for $20.99. This is an in-app purchase. And it looks like I'm all set. If you try to use the JScan without the Y cable and without bypassing the security, you'll get this message that tells you you need to use the cable. However, with the cable installed, you'll head over to the adaptation menu and scroll down until you find miscellaneous settings. And then when you enter miscellaneous settings, you'll want to scroll down until you find the options related to the inverter. Double check the inverter module present, on, off, and it should say active. And then we can head on down to the inverter on-off switch present, and we'll set that to active because we installed that switch. When you click the green go button, it commits that change. Then we'll scroll down and check the inverter status indicator, and we'll set that to active as well. We'll commit those settings and we should be good to go. You don't want your vehicle running during this, but you do want the power on. So after we're all done, we'll turn the power off and we'll disconnect the JScan and wait about a minute or so before we start the vehicle up. Now with our vehicle running, we can hit that on-off button. Again, that inverter is only going to work when the vehicle's running. Now let's go around back and check the outlet. I did plug something in and test it, but you can also see the light comes on the outlet when the inverter switch is turned on. That's it for the installation. I tried to document everything as thoroughly as I could. I didn't video everything. Some of it was fumbling around, and perhaps I should have recorded that as well, but overall not extremely difficult. I did it in pieces on different days. So I installed the switch in the dash on one day, and then I put the outlet in the back on another day, and then I actually did the programming on a different day as well. It was time consuming and it could have all been done in one day, but I wanted to spread things out and take my time, and that's just the time I had to do it. I worked on it after work in the evenings. So overall, probably spent 6 hours on it, maybe more, but I wasn't trying to do it extremely fast anyway. Yeah, that's just an estimate. Anyway, please leave a comment. Let me know, was this helpful? And if you have questions, if I missed something, I'll do my best to try to answer any questions you have.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.